something to ponder with Risa. Gyges and Santa. So, does anybody know who Gyges is? Has anybody ever heard of Gyges? All right, this was my assumption. So, let me tell you a little bit about Gyges and why I'm going to be talking about him in conjunction with Santa. There's good. Is that Beth Ann? Hi, Beth Ann.
Oh, yay.
We miss you. If you could have any superpower you wanted, Beth Ann, what would it be?
If you had any superpower, what would it be?
Okay.
She just had surgery.
Beth Ann, if you don't know her, she recently had pretty major back surgery. So, yeah.
Can she hear from there?
Can you hear me,
Can you
Beth Ann?
hear? You want me to put it closer?
Okay. We miss you too.
All right. So, agreed. We can't wait
We
for you
can't
to be
wait for you
back.
to come back.
So, Gyges. Fingers crossed. Gyges was the main character of a story, and this story is told in Plato's Republic, which was written sometime in the 500 BC-ish era. And in that writing, Plato says, well, you guys, because, he's sitting chatting with the guys. He's like, well, you guys know the story of Gyges. It's such an ancient story. I'm sure all of you know it. And when I started learning philosophy and I read that, I'm like, it's an ancient story to someone in 500 BC? Like, that's, okay, I don't even know how old, that's old. All right, so the story of Gyges is this. He's a shepherd in a small town, and he loves being a shepherd. He's a happy person. He has what he needs. He has enough. Life is good. One day, he takes his sheep to graze in a new pasture. He sees something in the distance. It's kind of shiny. He goes, he looks at it, and looks down on the ground, and it's a ring. So Gyges picks up the ring, and Gyges puts on the ring. So, I don't know about you, but if I start wearing a new piece of jewelry, especially a ring, I sometimes fiddle with it, right? I twist it or I turn it till I see if it feels good on that finger, whatever. Okay, yeah, Gyges does that too. And what he finds out is if he turns it, he becomes invisible, right? So at first, he's kind of like, this is strange. Not strange enough for him to take the ring off and throw it away, however, which might have been what I would have done, because it seems creepy. But he did not. So at the beginning, he decides to use his superpower of invisibility to, like, prank his friends. Right? Now I'm here, now I'm not, or more like, now I'm not here, oh, now I am, right? So Gyges starts to notice inside his friends' houses that they seem to have a lot nicer stuff than him, or maybe more stuff than him, or maybe stuff that they never talked about with him. And he's like, this does not look like the inside of my house. I'm a shepherd. So fairly quickly, Gyges starts to become a not happy person with what he had and with his life. And he says, you know, I think I can use this ring to improve my lifestyle. So that's what he starts to do. And he starts by stealing, but then he realizes he can't stay in his hometown because he's pranked people, and they know he can do this, so they're going to come after him, right? And, you know, communication and security cameras and stuff like that weren't much around in an ancient time, maybe 400 or 500 BC. So Gyges now becomes a traveler and goes around to many different places, and to each place he goes, he arrives in that town or in that city-state as a more and more wealthy and prosperous guy, right? Because he's bringing all his money, his jewels, his whatever it is. And he's liking that. But then that kind of isn't enough either. And he's like, well, you know, it'd be really great is to have all the stuff, but I also want power. Right? I know. So he continues down a path of what I'm going to call frighteningly bad behavior. He ingratiates himself in a particular city-state to the king and queen, and the king mysteriously dies, and the queen is bereft, right? But Gyges is right there for her. Yeah, so the queen marries Gyges, and he's the king now. So, in the Republic, Plato says, I wanted to remind you of this story, and I want you to tell me what you think about Gyges. You know, what he did with his power. Would you do the same thing, or do you think this is the right thing to do? And to a person, they all said, absolutely. Right, well, okay, maybe not the killing, you know, but like all the other stuff, of course. Why wouldn't I do that? If I could have everything I wanted and there aren't any consequences, nobody's going to catch me, I can't ever get caught. Why shouldn't I do it? And they all speak their mind about it, and they're like, well, gee, well, in Plato's dialogues, the main character is actually Socrates, but whatever. So tell us what you think, Plato/Socrates. And Socrates says, yeah, no. It's not about whether you get caught, right? It's about knowing what you've done, right? And he used this power for not good things. So that's sort of the Gyges part of our story. So the other character in our story, I'm sure you've heard something about, is Santa. Right? Santa also apparently, or to me anyway, has some amazing superpowers, including kind of invisibility. Right? Santa goes all around the whole world in one night. Nobody sees him. Right? Even if you try really hard to stay awake, you can't. I don't know what happens, some kind of magic dust or something. I don't know what he does, but nobody ever sees him. And he leaves you with, hopefully, something wonderful. Unless you've been like super, super naughty, and then you get coal. But honestly, in some places, maybe coal would be the best gift ever because it would be warm. I often wondered if that wasn't the twist to that end of the coal story. So the thing to ponder, or a thing to ponder, is all of us have the power to be invisible. Not in a invisibility cloak kind of way, and not in a Harry Potter way, and not in a Gyges ring way, and probably not in a Santa way, but in a way our invisibility power is closer to Santa. Because we can give gifts to people without having to tell them it was me that gave them the gift, right? So if you've ever, like, paid for the car behind you at Wendy's or something, you know, or name your fast food place of choice, that's a kind of way of invisibly doing something nice for another person, right? If you are church, the Unitarian Church, we have a little food pantry. We are stocking our little food pantry because there's a lot of food insecurity out there, and everybody, we all know that. So many of us try to bring stuff every week, and we leave it there. We don't stand out there and watch for, who's taking that, and it's a kind of invisibility, a way to do good. We can also do good sometimes when we don't even know we're doing good. Like our smile, or our have a nice day, or our I'm acknowledging you as a fellow human being can be a gift to people. And sometimes even if people just see us when we're happy. I mean, I might not even say something to somebody else and they see that I'm happy and I'm doing my thing or whatever. It makes them happy. They're like, wow, look at that woman. She's happy. That's great. I wonder why she's happy. Yay, okay, this is good. So we can do that. We can use our power of invisibility to do good. But we can also use our power of invisibility to sometimes not do good things. Right? Because we're human, we all have both elements, right? Sometimes we just, don't really know, or we're overwhelmed, and it's like, I can't take on one more project to help other folks. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm saying we need to acknowledge that that's what we're doing. It's like, my plate is full. I can do no more. Also, that side of the story is kind of like Ebenezer Scrooge. Right? He had the ability to do good. Right? Christmas Eve, his former partner comes back to him and says, I want to help you not have to live like me, dragging all these chains all over, right? And Jacob Marley has a great line that says, humanity was my business. Because Scrooge says, well, you were a man of business, Jacob. You were a great man of business. And Marley says, no, humanity was my business. And I failed because I was selfish and I never gave anything to anybody. So, as we all know, Scrooge gets visited by the three ghosts. He gets that crap scared out of him by the last ghost, traumatizing Mr. Magoo cartoon for me. The last Mr. Magoo ghost, oh my God, it was terrifying when I was a kid. So, he gets terrified, and I like to believe in his heart, he's learned. And, we know how it goes, right? They say of him that he kept Christmas better than any man in the final city of London, because he was enlightened about what you can do both visibly and invisibly. So that's something to ponder.
Great story.
So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Risa.